just making honest decisions over and over again. It's like, I know that maybe getting this food isn't that great, or making this other decision isn't that great, but at least I'm being honest about my actions and my choices, so that I don't go, well, why can't I get anything done? Why can't I be healthier? Why can't I reach my goals? It's like, I know exactly why.
Right.
Because I've been honest about all the choices that I've made. And I think people are just getting into this weird feedback loop of like, they think it's good, but it's really bad. And then they have no clue what's going on, or why they can't reach the goals that they want to, or why they aren't going in the direction that they would like to go in. And they don't know. It's like, well, you're not being honest with yourself. You know what sounds so amazing right now?
I don't know why I already don't like this.
A sweatshirt.
Do you want me to go get you one?
I never thought I would miss a sweatshirt so badly.
We could turn the air higher at colder, and then you can wear one.
Higher, colder.
Colder, and then you can wear
Not
one.
usually
You
how it
really
goes.
like. I get that though, like the coziness of it, and
You never think
feeling
you would
wrapped
miss something like that. But when you live in hell,
let's not start this so negative. How
It's
about
hot.
that?
I thought about today, like for this, I was like, oh, it'd be nice to wear like a long sleeve or a sweatshirt. And I'm like, well, I'm going to sweat my ass off the whole
Yeah.
time. So it's like, I have not been able to wear a sweatshirt in so long that I never thought I would. Who would think they'd miss wearing a sweatshirt?
Yeah. On the Saturday, Sundays, I do when I go down to do my walk. I'll keep a sweatshirt on because it's colder outside, but it's freezing in that gym down there. Especially
they
when
do
like
keep
you
it
wake up
cold.
and you're tired too. I feel like I'm always more cold in the morning when I wake up, and then I'm going down there in like a blasting AC that's been just like a closed room all
Yeah.
night.
They keep that thing cold down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
no,
I
the
can see
sweatshirt
that.
thing I understand. It's like the what's that word? Like the tactile thing. It's more of like the I was like, it's not like, oh, I would love to be cold right now other than have to wear a sweatshirt, but just like the feeling of having like things soft on your arm, or like being able to have like something baggy on, or
Yeah,
like I
it's
feel like
just-
we're just like showing so much skin all the time.
It's like you said, the cozy part of it. I'm not so much like I want the tactile thing, but I think kind of like you're talking about is like weighted blanket type of
Yeah.
situation. Like people like that kind of like wrapped and whatever. I just am like,
I feel like I'm so exposed here all the time. Just like it is like I'm just so
exposed.
there's
I'm
just
so vulnerable
so
here all the
much
time.
skin.
Well, it's just like you said, it's not like you want to be cold. I kind of want to be cold once,
Sure.
you know.
Well, you will buckle up. We're about to go to a lot of cold places and stay in
Buckle up.
freezing hotels.
I know. Then I'm gonna get sick of it.
You might not though, because you're still coming back to somewhere warm. Like you're getting that, you know, best of both worlds kind of.
Here we'll feel probably so much warmer
Yeah.
because I'll
Yeah.
go away from it. You know, it's like I'm almost starting to get used to it, where it gets to
Oh, that's true. You kind of like
78
adjust.
and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's kind of chilly here.
Yeah.
Like 78's chilly. 80's chilly here. Which is nuts.
It was starting to get cold for a little, like a hot second there, and then it's warm again. Today it was a little chilly in the morning, but like when we go on a beach walk, there was a couple days where I was wearing a light long sleeve, and that lasted for like 3 days.
I think we've just gotten used to it. I think we've acclimated already.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because I think it's still staying like those temperatures. But I think we just are already acclimated and used to it. It doesn't, like the weather doesn't fluctuate that much here.
No.
It only dropped probably 4 or 5 degrees.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. I mean, I get why people would not like it. I get why you don't like it. I get
I
like
thought I
people
would
like
love
the
it.
seasons, but this is the first place that we moved that actually stays warm. Like the other
Yeah.
places were warm, but
They had cold seasons.
yeah,
Or cold
like,
parts.
it's not like you're wearing shorts and a tank top all year round. Warm.
No. To where you are here. I thought I would really like that part of it. That
Yeah.
the weather doesn't change that much and the consistency of it, but it just gets, it's just never ending. It just drags. You don't get any change. You don't, like, I like being able to put on sweatshirt, sweatpants and have that. And then, you know, some or the other parts of the year, just being able to put on shorts and a tank top or whatever. But
what has been so stuff like that? I don't know.
here
My
comes the slam.
younger, no. It's a question. My younger self, and we've been having a lot of arguments about this lately. You like to point this out a lot. Literally just like
Told you a slam was coming.
literally just 3 times yesterday, but
I literally told you a slam was coming.
that like I would think something and then that's like my truth for life. It's like, oh, I won't be able to change my mind or whatever. But as I've gotten older and I've actually experienced more things, it's like the weather thing. I would think there's no way I would ever, I guess this is still true, but it's like I would never want to be in a place that has seasons. Like I love it just being warm. And then you actually live in that. It's almost like I'm going to try to not do that until I experience it. Of a lot of like, I don't know, this is my idea. It's like when we talk about kids all the time. We obviously have no like direct, it's like, yeah, we have a lot of experience around kids and that's our job or whatever. But it's like, until I can actually experience it day to day, I'm just like, this is my guess of what it might be. I'm just, well,
because there's
an
a big
observation,
difference.
But until you experience it, it's hard to have like a hard, fast opinion on it. So I'm trying to get better at that as I get older. Like, have you actually experienced that though? Then maybe just like have an idea of what you think it's going to be.
Yeah. Agree.
Do you have anything like that with the places that we've moved to that you have noticed? Oh, I didn't know that I didn't know that these kinds of people would be like this, or that I would like being around this kind of environment, or don't like this, or things that you've learned about yourself just living in. Well, I guess you don't think the places have been that dramatically different as much as I have, but.
Well, I still had expectations for them. And I think moving to Texas, I had high expectations, and then it didn't meet those, and it wasn't that. So I guess that would be an example for me, where it's like I thought it was going to be, I don't know, just like a certain way and positive, and it didn't really meet those. So then I kind of came from it like, I don't know if it's that great of a place. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just because, you create this image and this idea in your head, and then it doesn't meet that. But it's kind of like, well, that's your fault. You created this image before even going there or experiencing it, to where it's, if you would have just let it be. That's what I think I did here with Florida, was I kind of just let this be what it was and didn't create all these different expectations of how it had to be or what I thought it was going to be and whatnot, and living here, what it would be like. And, I think I did better with that here. I think because I did it with Texas so much, I was like, I'm not going to do that with Florida.
Sure.
Because it totally ruined my point of view of Texas. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I would say with that, it wasn't people. Like, to me, everybody's the same everywhere. Sure. It's like, there's a little bit of change person to person, but I don't know. It's like, it's just I don't know. People are going to people. Like, you're going to meet good ones. You're going to meet bad ones. That doesn't change that much. But I don't know. It's like the expectations is really what got me. So I've tried to stop doing that.
That is, I guess I'll use that as a segue into our topic for today, of like getting rid of expectations. Try to do that. Try to get rid of expectations, because then you're not boxing yourself in. But more so what I was going to say of, again, I feel like most of our conversations go back to just like analyze the situation, analyze your thoughts, analyze your feelings on it. It's like, well, why did you have that assumption with Texas? Why are we having these feelings about moving to the next spot or this place or whatever? That it's like, what made you think that? Like, why would you think you would love it? You've never been there before. Why would you think that you'd hate that place? You've never been there before. Yeah. That kind of just like getting rid of that, already having an agenda or already placing a thought on it and then an action according to that thought, when it's like, have you even thought deeper into that, or did someone just tell you that and now that's your truth?
Yeah. Well, I think it's difficult because you use context clues throughout your whole life, like of just trying to figure out would I like those things or would I not like those things. And I don't know, you're doing it with everything. That way you don't waste time doing stuff or moving to places that you don't think you would like.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably right some of the times and you're wrong some of the times. And I think, I don't know if it's like a safety mechanism to do that, of like predicting before you even do it, because then you maybe feel like you have somewhat of an idea going into it instead of being so blind going into it. It just brings a little bit of comfort of like, oh, I think I would like that. And then you're there and it's not scary, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
But we do that with life all the time. Just like, what are the context clues? Well, I like these things, so I'll probably like this. Or
Yeah.
I don't like these things, so I probably won't like this.
Yeah.
It's with everything. It's with water bottles. I've had an experience where the big, thick water bottles don't fit my fucking car cup holder. So I hate those. I don't want to use those.
Sure.
I want the skinny ones that will fit.
Yeah.
So then you only ever get skinny ones. And then one day you get a half-gallon one. You're like, this is awesome. Now I don't have to fill my water every 10 seconds. You're doing that all the time. That I think it's a muscle that's worked constantly. So then you do it with things forever.
Yeah.
And then you have these things where you go, oh, my expectations are high for this and I think I'm really going to enjoy it. And then they come crashing down. It's like, oh shoot, why did I do that? It's like, well, you do it with the littlest of things. So you're probably going to do it with the biggest of things too.
Yeah. Which I actually kind of like that idea. Maybe that could be something we discuss in a different episode of like expectations, just like in general. Like what you think your life should be, or what you think your body should look like, or what you should be feeling when you're working out, what you should be feeling with your kids or your significant other or whatever. That just kind of boxes us in. But what I was saying as a segue is that would be my thing, is I do too much of this is what it is, this is what I'm going to believe, and then that's it.
Oh,
and I
not
see
what you
that
were saying the other day.
I'm saying it for the aspect of this episode and for this. Do I do that all the time? And especially when you were saying it, and just because you were just pissed at me and you were throwing stuff.
Now you're trying to turn it on me. Oh, how the tides have turned. How the turntables have turned.
But how, like, I could see that as a healthy behavior because I'm confident in what I think. I have everything kind of calculated out of this is what I'm going to think about this thing, so I know how to make decisions based off of my thoughts on it. That could be seen as a healthy behavior, even though it's actually getting twisted into now I'm just boxing myself in. I'm not opening up to new experiences because I've already made a concrete choice and decision that is made up in maybe sometimes real life situations that, like you said, the cup holder thing. And sometimes it's just delusion. And sometimes even if it is based off of reality, like ability to adjust and maybe analyze if that's still current. But the topic that we're going to discuss in a lot of different ways today is healthy behavior that is not actually healthy. And one of them also that I want to bring up right away is like an easy correlation is like healthy food that's not actually healthy for you.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good like starting example to get into like what we're trying to talk about, or just like what we're trying to say and explain. An
easy analogy that I think a lot of us fall into.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Okay. But the reason why we're talking about this, guys, I was on Instagram and I saw this fitness girl post like her healthy recipes for the week, and one of them was like the chocolate chip cookie dough
alternative or something.
Yeah, it's like raw cookie dough balls that she would freeze and whatever. And she's promoting it as a healthy alternative to something that is obviously unhealthy, like a cookie dough ice or cookie dough whatever. But when you look at the ingredients, it's still like the base is a shit ton of chickpeas, and then she puts chocolate chips in it, but they're like organic chocolate chips. Then she puts organic maple syrup in it. Then she puts dates in it, and then she puts and then she melted more of the chocolate, covered them in chocolate, and then froze them. Yeah. So I think with those kinds of recipes, or you see, you know, the gluten-free cookies or the sugar-free whatever, or low-calorie cereal or low-calorie bars or whatever it is, and then we're like, oh, great. I can eat as much as I want of this because it's the healthier version, rather than, again, what the whole kind of theme of this episode is going to be is actually analyzing what the heck is going on. What is it? Yeah. It's like, sure, is that generally better than a regular cookie dough recipe with a bunch of real sugar and flour and blah, 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 whatever? Yes. But when you still break down those healthier ingredients, chickpea, like the amount of chickpeas that she was putting in, it's like, oh, that is 60 grams of carbs right there. And then even though it's organic chocolate, it's like, well, what does that even mean? Yeah. How, like, why is it organic? What ingredients are that they using that they're clarifying it as organic chocolate? Also, like, are the ingredients still like, oh, well, it's cane sugar, so it's healthier. Well, still sugar. And then you like throw dates in it, also super carby, also super sugary, and then you're coating it with chocolate. It's like, that's, you break that down, that's just a shit ton of sugar and carbs. Yeah. It's better than the cookie dough. Whatever. Yeah. It is a healthier alternative, but if you break that down, it's still unhealthy for you. Black and white. Yeah. Well, and I think the big problem of it too that comes is like you're claiming it's a healthy alternative. So now when you make them, it's almost like you're not having the guilt of having the bad thing because you think this is healthy now. Mm-hmm. So you're going to just eat 2, 3, 4 of them because you're like, well, they're healthy. Like I made their chickpeas and this and that. To where if you matched it up with like, you know, the chickpea, whatever, cookie dough thing with a real cookie dough thing, and you go 1 versus 1. Yeah, this is maybe going to be a little bit better for you. But the problem is the 1 or 2 that you have of the cookie dough is going to actually be better for you than the 6 you have of the other one, the chickpea one. And that tends to be what happens is you make these healthy cookie dough things or healthy cookies and, like you said, gluten-free, whatever. People end up just gorging on that because they still taste really good because it still has a shit ton of sugar, a shit ton of carbohydrates in it, but it has this fake label of, oh, it's a healthy alternative. So now you're actually eating more of that compared to the just regular chocolate chip cookie that you go, okay, well, if I eat this, like I probably shouldn't be. So you're probably only going to have 1 to where this alternative gluten-free cookie or whatever, you're going to go through a whole bag and then be like, well, they're gluten-free. Like everything's okay. It's like you just made it so much worse on yourself than just having the actual thing. Yes. And I think when we don't analyze or categorize these things correctly, then we start to justify them. Oh, totally. It's healthy. Like you said, it's healthy. I can eat the full batch. Well, and it's just, it's like what you said, analyzing and looking at it, it's like you're just lying to yourself. Right. Like you just did, of broke down the ingredients of it. It's like, are we really going to say this is a healthy alternative? It's like, okay, even if you want to go with the chickpeas thing and say like that is healthier than the flour and butter and all the things that make up the regular cookie. It's still chocolate chips. It's still maple syrup. It's still then coated in more chocolate. It's like, how is this healthy? Mm-hmm. How are we even, like, how do we even have this conversation about it? It's like, it's totally not. And that's where I think it gets tricky with if we're not analyzing it, we're not breaking down what it actually is. And like you said, lying to ourselves, and then we just start to justify it. We're now also pulling away from a larger piece of this, which is the behavior. It's like you said, oh, if it's a regular, not healthy cookie, you're going to realize, oh, this is not healthy. I'm not going to eat 12 of them. Like,
Right.
I am just going to have a couple and I'm going to be done with it because I understand the consequences of having this much. Ooh, lizard.
Ooh,
Not having this much.
our first guest.
Not having, you know, all of the obviously bad ingredients. But it's also the behavior of, okay, well, now I'm not holding back as much. Or even like I make the healthier pancake recipe for myself, which is just banana, egg, protein powder, and then I do some like seed mixtures. It's like, okay, cool. All of those ingredients, I am deciding in my way of eating. It's like, I am eating fruit. I am eating carbs from fruit. So the banana is going to be fine. And then the protein powder, I'm going to have that anyways during the day. That's, I am calculated with what the ingredients I'm putting in there. That works within how I'm eating right now. But because it still tastes like a pancake and it's still dense and like stimulates a carb feeling in my mouth, I'm now craving more carbs.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's still sending that signal to my brain of, you're eating carbs.
Yeah.
That my body is, or like my stomach is feeling fine with it, but my brain is now going, we want more. So then
Yeah.
it turns into, now I'm having rice. Then it turns into, I'm having pasta. Then it turns into whatever. That I was able to go, okay, I'm noticing when I'm eating this pancake situation every day, I'm wanting more of those. So the behavior needs to change and I got to take a break from it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, you know, doing any damage. I'm not adding crazy carbs or crazy sugars. But my behaviors are getting adjusted because of this thing.
Yeah. You can feel it starting to promote you eating more to where then you're going to start overeating and all that stuff. And it's just like, you might start to make poor decisions because you have those cravings or whatever of like,
Right.
oh, I'm still hungry and I want something else and I want something more. And now you kind of have that, I don't know, that sweet tooth in a way of like, well, I'm having these healthy pancakes. Why don't I do a healthy whatever? And you just start to kind of go down this rabbit hole of like, I think a lot of it is people are just trying to cheat the system. They're trying to find the workaround. They
Sure.
want to have the fun with their eating and their consumption, and they don't want to do the actual, just have the vegetables and the fruit. Because even that, it's like, you know, the banana and the pancake, you're kind of, you're not so much because bananas are already so soft and they don't have, I mean, the amount of fiber that some of the other fruits do, but like, that's why like the whole blending and the smoothie thing is a little bit not controversial, but like you're getting rid of a lot of the fiber that's going to help you. And it's the same kind of thing of like, if you're breaking down all the fiber and then you're just putting sugar into your system,
Which bananas are very sugary and very carby.
yeah, so you're now not having that balance of the fiber and the sugar. You're just getting this like IV drip of sugar. Of course, it's going to raise your blood sugar like crazy, and then you're just going to want to start eating more.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just like you got to watch for that stuff. But everybody wants to find the workaround. They don't want to just have the, you know, eggs in the morning with whatever, some vegetables or fruit, and it's like nobody wants to just like grab an apple and eat it. We got to do all this fun stuff with the
Sure.
apple and find a way to make it unique and fun and different. And it's like nobody just wants to be boring about it and do what they're supposed to.
And that's where I could go back and forth. Like, that was an easy way for me to get a shit ton of eggs in for my breakfast. It was an easy way for me to get in my like omega mixes and my seed, like all of those things. To where I think if I was going to continue to do that and not have the other cravings of carbs come up, I would still consider doing that every once in a while. Because I know like I would be fine just choosing that over having that like the real pancake. It's like I could just keep choosing the protein one. It's not like that's going to transfer over into now I'm, you know, whatever, going off the rails. Kind of like, oh, I'm feeling pancakes. I'm going to do that 10 out of 10 times versus getting the regular pancake
sure.
mix.
Yeah.
But if it is just to cheat the system and because like I'm trying to get the sneaky, get something that tastes good. It's like, just do it and be intentional about it. Like, we're going to eat good 99% of the time, but I will have a pizza every once in a while. We will have Chinese. It's like, but I'm not trying to trick my brain and like, well, this is the healthier Chinese because I got the gluten-free noodles.
Right.
It's like, but there's so much sugar in the sauces that you're on. It's like, just have the thing, be aware that you're having the thing so that you're able to like plan the rest of it accordingly.
Well, yeah. And I think it's kind of like what you said of eating really well, you know, whole natural foods and minimizing processed foods as much as you can. And you're doing that majority of the time, 95% of the time. I think that's the other thing. It's like we say majority, but majority can be 51%. It's like, no, it should be 95% of the time. You're eating just that and sticking to it. And then when it does come to like, oh, I'm craving pancakes, it's like that like next level of it, I think, is then doing the like, well, instead of doing the traditional pancakes, I'm just going to get that fixed because it's just a craving. You know, it's not like it's something that your body is actually needing.
Yeah.
You know, your body isn't deprived of the nutrients from the traditional pancake. It's not why you want it. You want it for whatever emotional or whatever reasons.
What Joe Rogan says. Mouth pleasure.
Yeah, mouth pleasure. That it's like then it'd be a great time to go to like the banana pancake with the eggs and the protein powder and whatever, because you're probably gonna have that craving fix. Mm-hmm. But then it's like you didn't go completely off the rails and detour everything. Mm-hmm. But I think kind of like what you were saying is people will just go to that immediately, and that will be their staple breakfast and their staple meals. And then they start to do that with every meal they have, where it's like this kind of workaround healthy option, and it starts to get a little less unhealthy as time goes on because of that stimulation of like, this is carby or it's sugary, and now I'm just wanting more and more and more. Mm-hmm. And the more options that you start to have to make, or the choices you start to have to make, when you used to eat breakfast and it was a bunch of eggs and some vegetables and you were satiated until noon or 1 o'clock. Well, now you're doing this banana pancake thing, and now you're hungry at 10. Uh-huh. And now you have to figure out, do I eat and what do I eat? And you do that. And then you are going to eat again at noon. And then you have another workaround of this weird, healthy alternative. And now you get hungry again at 2 o'clock. And then you're just constantly having to make more decisions throughout the day, rather than like, nope, I have my breakfast and it satiates me and it holds me over. I don't feel hungry until noon or 1. And then same thing, that holds me over till 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And then I'm good. I think it's like a little bit trying to eliminate having that many choices throughout the day when it comes to food, because we just make bad choices. Yeah. We want to have fun with it, and we want to taste something that's good and whatever. That I think if you eliminate as many choices as you can, I think you're better off that way.
So I wanted to start with the food example because I feel like that's an easy, everybody can kind of understand, and an easier pill to swallow, I guess, before we get into like some of these more trickier. Like, I think when we talk about it, we want to go into that justification or excuses, or I think a lot of people do have their things, but the whole topic, I guess, again, is just going back to thinking something is being a healthy behavior, and it's actually not. It's being an unhealthy behavior. And another one that I have is using verbiage, and this is going to be probably a larger one, using verbiage such as I earned or I deserved, versus, like I said about the thing, like making the choice and understanding what it is. What are your thoughts on, we don't really use those terms. I think we made a conscious effort to stop using those terms. But yeah, I mean, what do those, like when you hear someone say that, or why did we stop using those phrases?
I think they do still come up occasionally, and it's typically at like stressful times, emotional times, and it's difficult, especially in those states. It's difficult to step outside and go like, oh, I'm just using these to try to make myself feel better and comfort myself. Mm-hmm. And I think that's generally what they are used for. is it's like you want some sort of break or you want some sort of reward. So you start to go like, well, I earned this. Like I worked a lot this week, or I did some overtime, or, you know, I've had a rough couple, whatever. Like I've earned this. And then same with the deserve it. Like I deserve this. I've had a rough, you know, 2 weeks or something like that. And you just start to use those when I think you're broken down and you're maybe stressed and you're a little bit more emotional than usual. That it really seems like the common theme when those start to come into play is those like it's like a weakness. It's the weakness coming in and coming out, like, and then you start to make decisions based on it. It's like you're a little bit weak, you're a little bit now emotional and stressed, and you start to go like, you start thinking about all the things that you've done good to then allow you think that allows you now to make these poor choices of whether it's just like going and getting a bad meal or it's making a crazy purchase on something that maybe you don't really need. And I think, again, it comes to like the lying to yourself a little bit of like, I earned this or I deserve this. There's no way to measure if you earned it or deserved it. I think that's kind of what I go to is like,
yes,
it's like, sure, maybe, but what about the person over there that worked 60 hours and you only worked 40 and they're not making the purchase or doing the thing? So did you still earn it or do you still deserve it? Because somebody's working more and doing more than you and they're not making those choices. So I think people just want to comfort. We're always seeking and trying to find comfort. And this is just another one of those, seems like, trends in a way that people are like, well, you earned it. Go get it. Go do it.
Yeah.
You know, reward yourself. And it's like, how much fucking rewarding do you need?
Well, that's why I don't like using those terms, because it's not measurable. You don't know what you deserve or what you earned and what is just the bare minimum. What is just, this is what you should be doing as a human. This is what you should, this is how you should be acting. This is how you should be working. This is how you should be treating your health or treating your other person, or what you're at the rate at what you're trying to achieve. That is just average.
Yeah, it could be.
So to say that you deserve something, it's like, it's not measurable.
Yeah.
Because someone could be doing way less, but like you said, it's like you can't measure it. And most of the time, the rewards that come from saying those are typically, again, not healthy.
Right.
So if you break that down, it does. It's like, I love how Dave Ramsey said it with the buying a new car. Well, I deserve this new car. I've earned it. I've earned to like be able to drive a nice car or whatever. And he's like, if you think about that, like, he didn't say this, but it's like, so you deserve to put yourself in debt. You've earned debt. You've earned $50,000 of debt.
Yeah.
It's like, now I'm trying to see that with everything. It's like, oh, I deserve to go get Chinese. It's like, you deserve to put poison in your body.
Chinese? That's the second time you
This needs to go too, but it's like, you're saying you deserve to put poison in your body?
Right.
It's like, that makes no sense. It's like, you're rewarding yourself with a negative habit.
Yeah.
Versus making the choice of no strings attached to it. I just want Chinese, and I understand what that decision means. I understand what the consequences are. I understand I'm going to be spending money. I understand that I'm not going to be making food at home. I understand that I'm going to be putting poison in my body. I also understand I'm going to like it a lot. I'm going to enjoy eating it. It's going to be a fun experience. So, okay, categorized correctly. I'm not going, I did a great day of work, or I worked hard, I did an extra thing, da 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 da. No. I am making a choice of, I'm going to make a choice of this bad decision. I think the earned or deserve, it takes away the blame of, no, you did that.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, well, it happened because I earned it.
Yep.
Like, you made the choice to go get the car. You made the choice to go get Chinese. So dramatically different things. But it's like, again, justification.
Yeah.
It gives the justification for that bad action, or and it's not even bad because those things could be fine. But
Well,
they
they're
could
not-
be fine if you understand what it is. Bad food is never fine. Putting yourself in debt is never fine. It's like you can still make that choice to do so, but to put yourself in a delusional world of that's the better option or that's a good option is wrong.
Yeah. And I think throughout this whole time, like I just continue to think of it as like, you're just lying to yourself.
Yes.
And I personally don't like being in that state, I guess, where it's like, I just feel like, because to me, it's like, I feel like I'm trying to do something positive or good, but then when I'm sitting and thinking about it and I realize I'm in a way self-sabotaging, because it's like, how many people have financial goals? How many people have health goals? And then you play this game of, I earned this or I deserve this. And then that now justifies you to go get a bad meal or go get yourself in debt or whatever it is. Now those goals that you had health-wise, financially, are taking a back seat to you earning or deserving something. And it's exactly what you're saying of like, you're making a poor decision, but your brain is making you think that it is justified and earned or deserved.
Mm-hmm.
So now you don't have this like, you almost start to create this like positive feedback loop with it, but it's poor decision making. So it's like you're feeling good about these bad decisions you're making.
Yes.
And then you're just going to continue to make more and more and more of them. And then you wonder why I can't get healthy. You wonder why I can't reach my financial goals. It's like, because you've created this jacked up system of feeling good about making bad decisions.
Yes.
To where if you're honest with it, and like what you're saying, I know that this isn't a great decision. I know that it's not good for me. I shouldn't do it, but I want to have some mouth pleasure. I want to taste the Chinese food. I want to spend the money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're now being honest with it. And I don't think you're creating this positive feedback loop. I think you're creating an honest assessment of your choices. So then when you go to make another choice, you're going to be honest with that too. Because like everything's just this snowball effect. You start to do something and it starts to pick up momentum. So if you're picking up momentum of making poor decisions, you're just going to keep making poor decisions. If you make an honest decision and you keep doing that, you're just going to continue to do that. It's like, that's the route that I want to be on, is just making honest decisions over and over again. It's like, I know that maybe getting this food isn't that great, or making this other decision isn't that great, but at least I'm being honest about my actions and my choices, so that I don't go, well, why can't I get anything done? Why can't I be healthier? Why can't I reach my goals? It's like, I know exactly why.
Right.
Because I've been honest about all the choices that I've made. And I think people are just getting into this weird feedback loop of like, they think it's good, but it's really bad. And then they have no clue what's going on, or why they can't reach the goals that they want to, or why they aren't going in the direction that they would like to go in. And they don't know. It's like, well, you're not being honest with yourself. You're lying to yourself all the time.
I think people that do this really well is they understand their whole person method of categorizing what their intention is, what's the outcome, what's the consequence of, is this to build my health? Is this to build my relationships? Is this to have fun? Is this to reach my next goal and whatever whatever hobby I'm in, or blah, blah, blah. Because again, it's like what you're saying. If you're able to categorize it, then you know what cups are not being filled enough.
Mm-hmm.
Of, we're going to go out to eat and we're going to eat bad food and we're going to spend money or whatever. Well, then I can't say that's helping us reach our financial goal. I can't say that that's helping me reach my health goal, but I can put a couple pebbles in my, fun, happy, maybe it's building our relationship. Yep. So it's like, maybe I'm getting a little bit of both in there, but then, okay, I can see, oh, so I have a little bit in my fun and relationship cup. So now I got to put in a little bit extra work for my workout and financial cups so that my balance is, or my life is continuing to be balanced and continuing to grow in all areas that I'm putting attention to it. If you are not aware of what it's going to, it's like budgeting. If you're not aware of what money is going to what category, it's going to get mucky and you're not going to be able to put in as much effort into all of these areas. And then you're going to be like, well, why can't I do that? Or why is my relationship suck? Or why is it failing over here? Or why am I not making as much money as I thought? Or why is it like, well, because you were just putting so much into the fun cup, but you just said that it was all, you said it was all of them. It's
Right.
like, well, I'm getting better at my job because I'm doing X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, you were having fun. Or no, you were putting too much time to your relationship, or you were too much time to your health because you're working out 8 hours a day and now you're not going to work or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's that idea of like, you think you're filling one of those cups, but you're really not. Like you're justifying your decision making, and because of all those justifications and making yourself feel good about the bad decision, you think you're doing something positive and filling this certain cup, but in reality, you're not. Like you're just missing it.
Because I feel as people, we live very loose as it is, that again, it is like you got to budget your life. If you go at the end of the month and you're like, how do we spend this much money? Mm-hmm. But then if you're budgeting and you're able to see, oh, we went out to eat 7 times. It's like, if you don't have that data to look at and to be able to go, oh, okay, so if I want to have more money, I need to cut out the eating out so much.
But then how many people would go, they'd justify that even. They'd see the 7 times and they'd go, yeah, but that was like, this time was because of this,
sure.
And this was, I earned this, and this was to go out with friends and build relationships. And, you just, it's that justification at every single stop. And then they go, so really that 7 times, like, it's not that bad. Those are for good things.
So something else has to go.
And it's just that, like, if you're justifying stuff in general, I think if you're justifying things, that's the bad. That's the weakness that you have to address and look at. It's like, I don't mind going and getting a pizza and getting beer and having those nights and having fun, but I'm not going like, oh, I earned this, I deserve this. I'm going like, yeah, I probably shouldn't do this.
But I'm still making a choice to do it.
I'm still making the choice to do it because I want to.
Yes.
And then the next day, I'm like, shit, shouldn't have done that.
And that really should be, but we shouldn't even have that, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's like, no, you made the choice, live with the choice. It's like being honest with even your thought of, I want this. I'm making the choice to want this. I know it's not good. I know this is not helping me health-wise. I know I'm going to sleep like crap, which means tomorrow's going to maybe be a little bit off. But I want it, so I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to deal with the consequences. But because I'm making a choice to do that, now the rest of the week, I'm going to be doubly on point. Or I'm definitely not going to like go loose in my workouts, or, I'm going to make sure that I'm getting good sleep, or, turning the TV off a little bit earlier so that I can get good sleep, or whatever it is, because I made that choice. I was deliberate with it, and I understood the full ramifications of the whole thing. I think for me personally, this guy is so awesome. He's so nice to his wife outside. I think cutting out earned and deserved verbiage completely would help.
I agree. I just don't, they're just icky to me now.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the justification thing. It's like I would rather, whether it's having a conversation with somebody or it's us or just like my inner dialogue of, I'd rather it just be like, yeah, I don't really care. Like I want that.
Yes.
Rather than like, well, I just feel like that I should have it, or I earned it because of the XYZ and blah, 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 blah. It's like, you can talk yourself into anything. You can talk yourself out of everything.
Yeah.
It's like, you can justify every freaking thing you do. It's like, so why continue to lie to yourself?
Yeah.
I think it snowballs into more and more negativity and bad decisions. That's like, yeah, give me the person or the in my own head of like, yeah, whatever, screw it. Like I'm just going to have some beer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to try to justify like, well, I worked out 3 times this week and I ate really well and I did this and I did that. So I can have these 3 beers and it's really not that bad. It's like,
Because again, there's no way to measure that.
right. You know what I thought about at the gas station the other day? I was getting us those Celsius and they had they just had like a buy one, get one deal. And I grabbed it and was going up to the counter and I was like, oh, buy one, get one. So like, I'm saving like $2 or $3 here. It's like, maybe I'll get a Snickers because I got 2 or 3 free $3. And then I thought immediately, I was like, well, no, that's dumb because now I don't save $2 or $3.
Right.
And for what? Like
Right.
for a Snickers.
Right.
I feel like it's the same type of thing. It's like you say you did all these good things this week and now you earn this thing. Well, kind of all those good things are they're not, but they're almost all nil because you just got the thing at the end anyways. You know, it's like I did all this good eating and all this good exercise. Now I'm going to choose to like go off the rails completely on Sunday. It's like, well, everything you just did during the week now doesn't matter. Just like the buy one, get one. I'm getting a free drink, but now I'm completely ruining the fact that I could save $2 or $3 by now getting a Snickers.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Again, I think it's like there doesn't have to be this. I totally get what you're saying, actually. I think furthering that out of, again, it's like just be aware of what choices you're making because that could also be like put that into healthy terms. Put that into not Snickers and energy drinks. It's like, oh, we can get, a tub of protein and because buy one, get one, we are planning on spending this much money. So now let's get creatine or whatever. It's like, that's awesome. Now we just saved money. We were able to get 2 things for the price that we were planning on paying for the one thing. Awesome. Now take it back to the Snickers. It's like, if money is not an issue, or if money is something that you're like, I don't really care about spending the extra $2. I don't care about saving the extra $2 either. I would rather have the Snickers. Then awesome. Now you get the Snickers. But be aware that you're still eating a Snickers. So there is still damage to be done, or that is going to be done. So what are you doing with that choice? And how many choices of those are you making? And
that's so funny because not everybody has such a poor mindset like I do. Like it's all about the money to me,
And that's why I'm bringing it up because I was like, most people would not care about saving the $2.
Yeah, they're like $2. And it's like, who gives a shit?
I love a deal. I don't care how stupid it is. I love a deal that I would want to take advantage of the deal.
But I think it's an interesting concept. Whether it's money or not money, just of like, it's like you wonder why you can't get ahead because you keep like the times where you can. It's like a buy one get one deal. You then whatever money you would have saved with that, you now allocate to something else. It's like typically, say 2 Celsius is $6, but they're doing a buy one, get one. So I get 2 for $3. The $3 that I typically would spend on that Celsius, you then just take it and use it somewhere else.
Yeah.
You go, oh, I got $3 free, so I'm going to use it over here.
Yeah.
But now I didn't get ahead at all to where I could have been ahead $3.
Right.
And I think whether it's money or it's health, whatever, I think we kind of do that a lot where it's like we have the chance to get ahead because of this deal that we've done or because of this this smart logical situation that we choose to do, but then we ruin it by like basically closing that gap that we could have been ahead.
Sure. And I'm not saying getting the Snickers or not getting the Snickers is so one is good or one is bad. It just, to me, goes back to the categorizing. If you would get that Snicker bar and it would be like, it would just make you so happy and it would make you like, you're pumped about it. Okay. Then that goes into a part of your happy cup for the week. Now you don't have to, it's like, well, now don't have another one tomorrow or don't have dessert that day. Dessert. Can you imagine if we had dessert? Like, don't eat something else bad. It's like, okay, you ate the Snicker, so now you have to continue to, I don't know why I keep thinking pebbles into a cup. Makes no sense. You got to keep putting pebbles into your health cup and into your money cup and into all the other things. That's like, okay, you're saving money, so that would be cool. You're in your money cup. But if you were to get the Snickers, that could be your happy cup. But don't confuse them. Know that it's going into your happy cup.
Well, and I think this is what's, I don't know, there's a part of me that feels like this is where justifications start to come. Is like all this thinking and trying to be logical and play the game and win the system, you know, like, because I like the different cups, like whatever it is, ideology or, you know, metaphor type of thing, because I think it can show people of like, yeah, you have to try to put your time and attention and effort into different things. It can't always just be one, because you're going to lack in the others. But in a way, I think if you take it too seriously, you're going to start to do that, where it's like, well, what cup is this going into? And then, okay, I'll do it for this. But then if I do that, I need to put some into this cup. And that, so now you're just kind of making decisions based on what cup you're trying to fill. And then I think that's where you start to justify, well, I saved $3 here, so I did the financial thing, cool, but then I'm going to use this over here to now put into the happy cup to have the Snickers, and now I have the Snickers, so now I need to find something to put into the health cup.
Maybe it just seems too confusing.
You start to just justify all of your actions to put shit into cups.
Sure. Okay.
It's like,
okay.
I like the metaphor, but I think if it's like anything, if you go too, you know, deep, crazy into it, and make it your whole life, it's like it starts to do more bad than good.
Okay, so what do you think is a solution for that? Or like, does it really just come down to it being bad or being good? Like how we talk about, like, it's supposed to make you better. So if it is well, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know if this is very obvious. All these things are maybe not as very, but maybe they are though. Maybe it's like we're just playing dumb as people. It's like, you know, the Snickers is bad.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the spending money is bad.
I think that's.
Well, I guess I don't want to say that the money, but.
I think for sure. I think people kind of play dumb with it, where it's like, you know what's healthy and what's not. It's like you know you should probably only be eating whole natural foods, and that's where like the justifications and all that kind of stuff of like the healthy granola bar or the healthy this or the healthy that. It's like, I don't know. It's just like, you know. You should just be drinking water. You shouldn't be drinking Celsius all the time. And you shouldn't be having all these flavored drinks and, you know, these super, like, I don't know, just like the super processed, but all the macros say it's great. It's like, it's just that, I don't know. We want to be lied to.
Yeah.
That's a big part of the problem too.
Well, maybe that's like an easy, for me, it's very easy to use don't use earn or deserve. Just say that I want this, because then the things that are probably not needed, when you say I want this, it seems ridiculous. Like, to me, I can hear the kid in my head. It's like, we should get food tonight. It's like, well,
okay.
Why? Like, because I want it. Like, I already just like hear the whininess in that. It's like, I want it. I want a drink.
Well, you can just feel the weakness.
It's like,
yeah.
Then I'm going to go, and I'm okay with that. And this is the ramifications of that. The Snickers, I want it. Okay. But it's like, do you want it more than you want to save the $2?
Or health?
You made the choice of, no, I don't. I want to do that instead. All of these are choices that we want to do. So maybe it's just as simple as that, of just,
To me, I think it's trying to catch yourself justifying things.
Yeah.
Because if you're justifying it, I think it means like, oh, you're trying to make this thing work that is probably not the right answer. And it probably doesn't work. You know, people do that with financial stuff. People do that with health stuff. I think those are really the big two that, you know, where the justifications come in. So it's like, well, I ate really well all week, so I can do this. I deserve this, or I earned this. And same with the financial stuff. Like, I've been doing a really good job of like not going out to eat that much, so now I'm gonna go do this thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, I haven't been going out to eat that much, so I'm gonna buy a new car.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you just made it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
The thing that you were spending maybe $200 a month on, now you bought a car that's $400 a month.
Yeah.
To me, I think I agree. Stopping using "I deserve this" or "I earn this," because I think those are just justification phrases, and I think just trying to catch yourself when you notice yourself justifying something.
I think another phrase that's similar to the "I earned this" or "I deserve this" is the can I not talk? "I earned this" or "I deserved this." Use my full muscles. Is the like self-care or self-love thing. It's like, well, I love myself. That's why I'm treating myself to dinner or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like
you're just justifying.
Yeah.
They're just justification phrases that
I think that's what's funny.
It allows you to feel good about the shitty decision you're making.
Yes.
And that's what's so like toxic about it. It's so poisonous about it. And it's the same thing that we talked about at the beginning of like how you're making this healthy alternative treat that's healthy for you. It's toxic. You think that this is healthy now, so you're going to have more of it. Mm-hmm. And it's really just poisoning you and making it worse. But you have this weird positive feedback loop with it.
Which I really like that you said that, because I did not think about that. Of you're now rewiring your thought process in your brain to think these unhealthy things are helping you.
Yeah.
That's like, you talk about self-love. It's like, I could see why people are so confused and like mentally struggling, because this whole self-love, like that's like very trendy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, in the last how many years that, yeah. And then you relate it to things that I'm sure in the back of your mind are not good. And then you're going, this means I'm loving myself.
Right.
I'm a, like the whole, like, I just saw a mom post about this, but like the mommy wine culture thing. It's like, I dealt with my kids all day. I get a drink. I'm loving myself by treating myself to a drink at the end of the night. Like, that's showing myself love because I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing something that's making me happy. It's like, you're drinking wine and now you're correlating alcohol, having to need something at the end of the night or medicate yourself from dealing with your children.
Well, it's like, yeah, when you go to break all that down, it's like, so you've had a hard day and you're going to treat yourself by putting more stress on your liver and on like your whatever, like you get shittier sleep with alcohol in your system. So it's like you're treating yourself by making you more unhealthy and then getting worse sleep. And now you have to get up and deal with it again the next day.
But more tired.
And with bad sleep.
Yeah.
It is such a ass backwards thing. The whole self-love thing and self-care is, it's like, oh, I'm going to love myself. So I'm going to go get a bunch of donuts. It's like, if you were loving yourself, you would do things that are positive for you.
Yeah.
You're poisoning yourself.
Well, and that's one thing that we talked about today that I think is also another good clicking point is, you go back to the cups of what cups are you filling or whatever. It's being honest actually with what those are. Like we brought up, like, I'm going to bring in donuts to work because I want to, try to be friends with my coworkers or try to build that community. And, being a part of something makes me feel good. Is that actually what you're doing? Or do you just want donuts? Or like, I'm going to go out with my friends because I feel like I need to keep building that relationship.
Right.
Like, or do you just want to go out to have drinks?
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it should come from like I want to go have drinks with my friends and then go do that. Not,
Yeah.
I've had a long week and I deserve this like fun time to go do it. Because now, again, you're starting that weird like connection with positive connection with bad things and whatever. That's like, if you want to go do that, cool, go do that. But be honest about what your intention is and why you're doing it. And
That's hard to do sometimes.
oh, it's so hard to do because
You trick yourself.
oh, all the time. You're constantly like just having. It's so hard to know what it is you actually want and need a lot of the time.
No, it's not.
And that
goes back to the food. It's not hard to know what's healthy for you and what's good for you.
yeah, but that's different than want and need.
Well, what unhealthy things do you typically need?
Oh, sure. Okay, then want.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's hard to know. Do I actually want donuts or am I just kind of stressed and emotional and want some sort of comfort? You know what I mean? And I think maybe you can attribute to like,
okay, yeah,
you know, can you analyze like what your emotional state is at that time? So it's like, are you wore down?
Sure.
Or are you like, you're buzzing and humming and you're good? And it's like, freaking donuts sound great. It's like, it's just this.
Like we bet too, I guess.
Well, yeah, totally. I mean, it's still like, at the end of the day, it's not a great decision to make because it's not healthy for you. But again, we're human. We're going to want those things. We can't untaste donuts and pizza and all that great stuff. It's like, we're going to want them again. But I think you have to figure out where all that is coming from.
Yes.
And I think a big cue to me is, are you justifying the action? That to me really sends the red flag of like, hey, something weird's going on. You're really trying to justify this rather than just being honest with like, I know it's shitty and I shouldn't have it or want it.
We always bring up this example of like, I don't want to get up in the morning, but you can justify to yourself. You can make reasons. You can make it make sense in your brain of why I need to stay sleeping. It's like that maybe is really just like the very baseline approach. There should be way more digging into it, and there you can analyze yourself more. You could learn yourself more. Stop using these phrases, but yeah, it's like if there has to be justification, it's probably wrong. You don't need to justify eating a healthy meal to someone.
Exactly.
You don't have to justify going and working out to someone. Yep. You don't have to justify.
You don't have to justify
balance. You don't have to justify balance. It's like that goes all around. Like, because I was gonna say, like, you don't have to justify making money. It's like, well, going into my next thing, I maybe do, but like, yeah, it's like if you have to come up with excuses, it's probably coming from something weird.
Yeah, totally.
But my next thing was like figuring out yourself, figuring out why you do what is figure out what your self-sabotage typically is.
Yeah.
Because I think that could help understand when these little decisions come up, why you make those.
Yeah.
It's like you said, like you typically make decisions based off of money.
Right.
So you're going to, even if it seems smart, it's like, well, we should, I'm trying to think of something that like could be kind of funky. It's like,
well, I think with the money thing specifically, it's the same thing as justification, but you just start to, you get way more into the numbers of everything and making sure the numbers work rather than the behavior. What's the behavior going to be? And that's something that Ramsey talks about all the time. So it's like finances are not a math problem. It's a behavior problem. And I think it's totally true of somebody that definitely does it all the time. That's like the issues come when you're trying to make all the numbers work and you're not at all thinking about the behavior.
Yes.
Which kind of comes on to everything. If you're not thinking about the behavior of it and you're thinking about, it's like when the waking up example, trying to wake up early and you're laying there and you're like, okay, well, I fell asleep at this time probably, and I only got then 6.5 hours of sleep if I were to get up now. So really for my health, I should probably sleep another hour and a half longer and blah, 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 blah. It's like, you're totally not thinking about the behavior of like, if I stay in bed and sleep, I'm probably going to do that again tomorrow. I'm probably going to do it again the next day. You're only thinking about the math and how to make this thing work and justify why you need to stay into bed. To where if you thought about the behavior, it'd be like, well, if I want to continue to do this and get up early, the behavior is get up early.
Yeah.
And then just do it.
Yeah. I think that is like the simple of like, again, if you have to justify it, if you have to make excuses for your actions, for your behavior, because when you were talking about that, I was also thinking about like, okay, well, is saving money a bad thing? No. Would like working too much be necessarily a bad, or working a lot be necessarily a bad thing? Would working out a lot be in the general sense a bad thing? No. But if you're getting questions on it, or you're questioning yourself and now you're making justifications for why, even healthy things or typically healthy things could still be funky for you.
Oh,
and that's
totally.
where I go into the self-sabotage. Like yours, maybe the money thing. Mine would be like the, like working, taking any job, like overly working, always thinking I need to be doing more or whatever. That can really be justified because it's money, it's jobs, it's a career.
Yeah.
I'm building something.
What would be bad about that?
Yeah, that it's like, well, where is that coming from?
Yeah.
What are you now not balanced in because you're putting a lot of it into your work cup or your success cup? You're not putting it into eating healthy. You're not putting it into working out. You're not putting it into whatever. That I think when you can figure out what your self-sabotage is, because I feel like we all have something.
Yeah, totally.
Now we're taking away from the other positives that we could be getting.
And I think the self-sabotage really just comes from like a pattern that you're used to making. I feel like it tends to be kind of always the same thing or a couple things. You know, it's like when and they come when like you're overly stressed or overly emotional, and then you start to go to the pattern that, you know, I don't want to say that like makes you feel better necessarily. I think it's kind of a facade, but maybe it makes you, it probably does make you feel better for that instant moment. You know, it's like people that will, their thing is like they find their comfort in food, or some people find it in like, I have to go exercise or work. Like I just need to work more. You start to feel a little bit uncomfortable and you just go to your regular pattern that you always do. And you have to try to like figure out what yours is, and being really aware of like, okay, I'm more stressed, I'm more emotional, I'm feeling uncomfortable, and my immediate thought is like, what financial thing can I do right now? That's mine. I go to like, okay, how can I figure out like this money thing and finances and whatever? And it's like, oh, you're just feeling uncomfortable. And
yeah,
like,
and it could not even have anything to do with money.
No, it could not even be. It could not even be coming from money. It could be anything else.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, it's just like you get a little
How are
bit.
the stocks doing today?
Yeah.
I'm like, what triggered you?
Yeah, it's like you just get bored or you get a little bit anxious, and then you have this pattern. Oh, okay, let me like do the budget and see what we're at and what we're doing and what can we do? What new thing? Like, how do I make the numbers work and all this type of shit? And you just have to try to figure out that pattern and break it, basically. Just got to go, oh, that's my pattern. I do this every time.
Yes.
And now when this comes up, I need to try to be super aware and go, okay, we need to find a different thing. It's like, if I'm doing this, okay, maybe I need to go for a walk. Maybe I need to get out in the sun. Maybe I need to exercise. Maybe I need to like get a healthy meal in, or finding something positive to do rather than just like finding a new other pattern. Because it's like, I could do that, and then I'm like, well, I know I shouldn't do the finances thing or whatever. So, hey, you want to go?
I'm always gonna cook now. You start cooking meals.
Yeah, you want to go get something bad? You want to
Yes.
go? You want to go get the pizza? You want to do this? You want to do that? Should we sit on our butt all day? Or it's like you have to try to break that pattern and then find something positive. And I don't know, just like keep moving forward with that, because you've created a pattern. So you're going to need to break it multiple times.
Yeah.
It's not going to be one broken and done. you're going to have to continue to practice it and keep doing it.
And I think that starts with breaking down the lie you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
Of that the choice that you're making is beneficial to you, or like I think there's like a, not that self-sabotage is being branded as a healthy thing, but I think a lot of us use the self-sabotage approach to trading, well, I can't have this thing because of this, or I can't feel this because of this, or it's like, well, I can't have this because I don't have 12 more jobs. Or like, I think I hear parents say this sometimes. They're like, well, I can't be healthy because I got to take care of my kids. I can't eat the healthy meal because I'm, got to make them something. That it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. It's like, you're just using them, that again, the justification. And then now you're using your kids or work or whatever it is as an excuse for why you're not doing those other things.
I feel like that is the through line of all of this, is the justification thing.
Yes.
It seems like it comes back to that every time, where it's like, if you're having to justify it, something's off and you need to look at that. It's just every single example we're bringing up, it seems like it comes back to that.
I called it at the beginning of the podcast.
It's always, it's always that. The other thing I thought too, when you were saying the self-sabotage part, I feel like there's definitely like positive and real self-love that people do, but I think self-love and self-sabotage get mixed a lot of the time. It's like a lot of the things that people think they're doing self-love is just self-sabotage.
Well, and again, it's like, to me, the self-love, it's so much simpler than how people are making it. There's no way that there's that many things. It's like, self-love should just be things that, it's like, make you better, or it's like, if you put that into someone else, like, that's like the easiest way to like, well, how would you talk to that person? How would you treat that person? If I love you, would I go, let's get you all of the McDonald's and all of the alcohol, knowing what that's going to do to your body? It's like, so why would I do that to myself?
And I think that's the connection that people don't make, is because
don't work out.
Even you saying that, of like, let's get you all the McDonald's and all the alcohol and whatever, a lot of people do go, oh, that's love. Like, they want you to be happy. It's like, but you're completely missing the other real bad side of it that's way worse than the positive, of like, that's extremely unhealthy.
Sure.
But I don't think people are connecting to that. And we don't connect to that all the time either. It's like, we think we're doing something positive for ourselves, but we're not. We're only looking at the good side of it, to where you pull back the curtain and you realize, like, oh, this is way worse than it is good. Mm-hmm. That whole example. It's like, people would do that. Oh, I love you, so I want to get you like all these bad things.
Yeah.
But they don't see it as bad things. They see it as, here, you get to take a break, or you get to indulge.
Right.
To where it's like, there is love there, but I don't know. It's like, it's not. It's tricky because there's such a fine line of it.
Yeah.
There's so much love, and like, I don't know, just like, we talked about too, of like Thanksgiving. It's like, it's not great food. You're typically making a whole bunch of bad food, but the point and the purpose of it is like, you're making this food for people and to enjoy family or friends and like have this community thing. And
well, it's like, our favorite part is just making the food all day. The actual food is, we know it's not good, but
yeah,
we love the process.
Right. That it's like,
so that would you not want to do that?
That way, it's like, that is a version of showing love and whatever, but I don't know. You have to be able to see both sides of the coin.
That is exactly what it comes down to, though. It's like, take the Thanksgiving example. Yes, it's bad food. It's all bad food. We're drinking the entire day. We're cooking. We're doing nothing else productive besides just hanging out and cooking all day. That could be so awesome and be so fulfilling, but we're not going, and this food is like, this is a healthy, all around healthy experience. And because like, it's fine that we're eating this because we're getting this out of it. Like, those two are separate things. Yes, this is an awesome, fulfilling experience. It's also very bad food for you. It's like, those things should not be the same thing. You have to see them separately and categorize them so that we're not justifying this so that we can have this. It's like, no, understand that you're eating bad food. That's so awesome that we're getting time together and doing it for people and being able to share that stuff with family. But you still ate the bad food, so you also need to act upon that and understand what the consequences of that are.
And I think, yes, and being honest about it.
Yes.
It's like just not justifying it, just going like, yeah, this comes with that, and I'm choosing to still make that decision.
Yeah.
And like,
the choice.
Cool,
it goes back to the choice.
Moving on.
The choice and not, that's, I think, is what it is overall. No, you have the choice. You are the one making the choice, which means you're the one dealing with the consequences. If you have to justify it or make excuses, it's probably something that you either shouldn't be doing or you need to understand why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And cut out, like, I earned this, I deserve this, and I'm giving myself self-love.
Yeah. Yeah, it really worries me, the lying to yourself and making it something that's positive.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking it's positive when it's really not. It's negative, and then you just are continuing to make those same decisions and doing those same actions. That's where it's like, it's so much worse than just being honest and doing the bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can try to find every which way to make this healthy chickpea cookie dough thing. But the danger of it is you're lying to yourself and you're going to consume more of it and do more of it.
Which is that behavior.
Right, which is the behavior. Again, it's like the math versus the behavior.
Yeah.
It's like your behavior is the thing that...
The calories are probably a better, diverse, not super crazy processed shit. There's the math.
Right.
But the behavior is... You're still trying to find a sneaky way into eating the unhealthy version of that. The behavior is, I'm going to eat all of this because I think it's healthy. Yep. And the behavior is, I'm not going to just go cut and dry. I'm eating something unhealthy and dealing with the ramifications, or I'm going to eat healthy. And that's the behavior.
You're kind of playing this weird middle...
kind of do both of it all of the time and not really get the benefits of either.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not as good. So you're not even getting the good... yummy mouth pleasure, but you're also having a shit ton of carbs.
And you can't get to your health goals.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Great job. Just great job.
So sarcastic, but thank you.
It's not. I did it once. I think it's hilarious every time.
I know. I edited the last one. It was just like you saying good job, and I'm just saying thanks. And didn't say anything back to you because in my head I'm like, he's just bullshitting me. I don't want to say like you too. But like he's joking.
That'd be hilarious.
He's joking. No, because I would be serious and sincere about it. You're just trying to slam me.
I'm not.
You're sincerely saying good job to me right now.
Yes. Doesn't know me at all.
I'm just surprised. That just seemed okay. Well, good job to you too.
See you later.